Cosmology, which is what I'll talk about, is not an obvious term. It seems remote from everyday life. Maybe it sounds anachronistic. In more than one sense, cosmos is where the modern human being disappears. Cosmologies are about the world, but they also represent knowledge about the world, the ways in which we know something. Cosmologies straddle and connect concepts that the Western mind otherwise likes to keep apart, such as science and religion, nature and culture, knowledge and ignorance. Cosmology is in this way a very inclusive term, comprehensive term, nor does it exclude non-Western worldviews and the cosmovisions of indigenous peoples. And of course, artists play with entire worlds. Today our species must face the fact that it has made another world of planet Earth. Human-made ecological crises not only extend in space, they also melt into time through irreversible climate changes. For this reason, you can no longer distinguish between anthropological and cosmological orders, the way that it was done in the modern era. A contemporary cosmology is about uncertainty, it's about precariousness. When life is precarious, you live exposed, you are vulnerable, you may be unable to make plans because time doesn't have a specific goal, or because social guarantees for your existence have been removed. At the same time, indeterminacy is also what makes life possible. It makes you notice things. Precarious living can even be an adventure. Artists in Incerteza Viva work with these conditions and ambiguities of contemporary life. To name a few of the artists, Pilar Quinteros from Chile risked life and limb for Incerteza Viva. She traveled into a terrain that is both imaginary and real in Brazil. In her film Smoke Signals, she follows in the footsteps of the English explorer Colonel Percy Fawcett, who disappeared in 1925 while searching for a mythical city in the heartland of Brazil. During her month-long stay in the mountains of the Mato Grosso, Quinteros built portals to this mythical city that probably never was. These are Pilar's monuments to speculative archaeology and to memorable quixotic failures. Colombian artist Alicia Barney's work is also about contact consciousness. In her case, not to past events, but to non-human life forms, non-human entities. Barney's work for the Bienal consists of a group of mushrooms that have spread in the Ibirapuera park. Next to them is a wind organ. Mushrooms can represent many things. They can be an image of those who do not have a voice, but are slowly growing into their rightful place and are not easily gotten rid of. Or because mushrooms thrive also in disturbed environments, in polluted, radioactive environments, for instance. They represent an ecology that is not yet doomed. Fungi can grow at the end of the world. They are truly a becoming. Dineo Bopati has created an installation out of big slivers of compressed sand whose surfaces have cavities and pits where certain objects and materials are placed. Her installation looks a bit like star maps, perhaps, or a game with secret rules and functions. Her installation makes me think of a song by Dinah Washington, you probably know it, This Bitter Earth. Just a personal association, maybe you'll hear a different song. In Bopati's own words, her work is an attempt at making sense of nothing and of nothingness. It's an attempt at displacing the voids in history. This displacement can play out between, for instance, the open hand and the fist, between sowing and reaping, between having land and being landless, between celebration and mourning. Poverty, fullness, void, silence, presence, contestation. According to another South African artist in the biennial, Donna Kukama, Bopapi's work is about when spirituality was a baby. I'm not quite sure exactly what this means, but it's a very nice idea to think about the infancy of spirituality. To consider art as a telescope into time also relates to Shilan Samiko's woodcuts. For more than 40 years, until his death, 2013, Samiko created one woodcut per year. In this way, each of his prints represents a block of wood whose mythological motifs carry a portion of lived life, like a circumscription of life. Samiko is not the only artist in the exhibition who presents very Brazilian imaginaries. Since the 1970s, Bene Fonteles has worked as an artist, activist, and educator, and his world is Brazil. I don't think he's ever traveled outside of Brazil, actually. You won't be able to miss his work, which is titled Agora, Orca Tapera Terreiro, a large architecture at the beginning of the exhibition. This is a site where different traditions, identities, and cultural scripts overlap. And his Agora will also function as a live assembly throughout the exhibition, where Fonteles will host a program of meetings and talks to, as he puts it, postpone the end of the world in discussions about Brazil's present and recent past. Cosmologies and cosmological thinking are also about transports and journeys, about sudden departures and arrivals to other places and conditions. Øyvind Fahlström was a Swedish artist who died in 1976 and who was in fact also Brazilian, because he was born in São Paulo and he spent his childhood in Brazil. It's the second time that his work is presented at the Bienal de São Paulo, as he also participated in the third biennial in 1956. And we are lucky to be showing several of his works here, one of which is a sound piece called Den Svåre Rejsen, or in English, The Difficult Journey. Is presented right behind us here in this corridor. The Difficult Journey by Fahlström is a work that he created in 1954, the same year that the biennial pavilion was built. A concrete poem performed by a choir, The Difficult Journey sounds like a soundtrack for a science fiction movie, or like a drinking song performed by a melancholic party late at night. Or maybe Fahlström's difficult journey is the sound of somebody who's living the paradox of being far from home, and it's uncertain where home is.